morning and a very warm welcome. You're watching Janata Television and this is the English Bulletin with me, Sushan Dhakal. The top stories first. Supreme Court sets time frame for hearing on House dissolution case, demands clarification from the defendants within 7 days. Government confirms over 3,000 new cases of coronavirus. Number of active cases drops to 80,000. World Bank projects economic growth of 5.1% in 2022, says the growth will be limited to 2.7% in the current fiscal year. US to provide 500 million doses of COVID-19 vaccine to other nations. The vaccines will be donated to 92 lower-income countries. And Djokovic and Nadal set for a titanic semi-final clash in the French Open. The pair will meet for the 58th time on June 11th. And now the news in detail. The Supreme Court has set aside 15 hours time for a hearing on each writ petition filed against the dissolution of the House of Representatives. The Supreme Court has decided to first complete the hearing on the writ petition filed by the Nepali Congress. The Constitutional Bench, led by Chief Justice Cholendra Samser Rana and Justices Deepak Kumar Karki, Meera Khadka, Ishwar Prasad Khatiora and Dr. Anand Mohan Bhattarai, took the decision. A total of 146 MPs of the dissolved House of Representatives, led by the Nepali Congress President Deuba, had filed the writ. Following the preliminary hearing on the writ petition yesterday, the court has ordered all the defendants to submit a reply in writing within 7 days from the date of receipt of the order. Likewise, the Constitutional Bench has issued an order demanding amicus curiae in the ongoing hearing on the case filed against the dissolution of House of Representatives. The bench has sought 2 senior advocates, each from Nepal Bar Association and the Supreme Court NBA unit. The government yesterday confirmed 3,449 new cases of coronavirus across the country. Following the latest round of tests, the total cases of coronavirus in the country have climbed to 598,813, while the number of active cases has dropped to 80,336. The number of active cases was 82,736 a day ago. According to the Ministry of Health and Population, altogether 510,298 infected persons have tested negative from the disease in the country, following the recovery of 5,768 patients yesterday. Coronavirus has claimed 81 more lives across the country, taking the death toll to 8,179. Nepal is currently among the top 40 countries that have been most affected by the pandemic. The USA tops the list with over 34.26 million confirmed cases, followed by India with more than 29.1 million cases. Coronavirus has infected more than 175 million people across the world and claimed 3.77 million lives. This is Janata Bulletin. We'll be right back after a short break. Welcome back after the break. We continue with other national news. A consignment of 32,500 metric tons of urea fertilizer procured from Bangladesh has arrived in Nepal. The fertilizer was purchased through the government-to-government modality agreement. This quantity of fertilizer has been received at the Agriculture Inputs Company Limited, Province Office, Birganj. As per the G2G agreement, Bangladesh will supply 50,000 metric tons urea fertilizer to Nepal. The remaining 17,500 metric tons fertilizer is in the process of transportation. And now the news from the economic front. The World Bank has projected that Nepal's economy will grow by 3.9% in the fiscal year 2021-22. The World Bank has projected an economic growth of 5.1% in the fiscal year 22-23. Nepal's economic growth has increased by 2.1% from its 2021 projection and by 1.4% compared to the projection made in 2021-22, according to the World Bank. However, in the fiscal year 2020-21, Nepal's economic growth will be limited to 2.7%, the World Bank has projected. The World Bank has also projected India's economic growth to be 8.3% in 21-22 and 7.5% in 22-23. According to a report released by the World Bank on Wednesday, the South Asian region is projected to grow by 6.8% in 2021. This estimate is 3.6% higher than what was previously projected. Time for a short break here at Janata Bulletin. Stay tuned for international news. Welcome back, and now the international news. The Biden administration has reached an agreement with the United States vaccine makers to provide 500 million doses of COVID-19 vaccine to 100 countries over the next year. As he prepared for a round of summit meetings with European leaders, U.S. President Joe Biden was under pressure to do more to make U.S. vaccines available to poorer nations. Biden is set to announce the plan at a 3-day summit meeting of the G7 nations to be held in Cornwall, United Kingdom, starting from today, according to the Washington Post. The U.S. will pay to Pfizer and BioNTech for supplies of the not-for-profit vaccines, with 200 million doses to be distributed this year and 300 million more by the middle of next year, according to the New York Times. The COVID-19 vaccine doses will be procured by the U.S. government and then donated to 92 lower-income countries. You're watching Janata Bulletin, and now the latest from the world of sports. Top seed Novak Djokovic defeated Italy's Matteo Berrettini to reach the semi-final of the French Open. Serbia's Djokovic won the opening 2 sets, leaving him on course to complete victory in front of the 5,000 fans allowed to watch the night session. Berrettini won a third-set tiebreak, forcing an exodus greeted by loud boos. When the players returned, Djokovic wrapped up a 6-3, 6-2, 6-7, 7-5 win. Victory ensures Djokovic will renew his enduring rivalry with Nadal, who is aiming for a record-extending 14th title at Roland Garros. Third-seed Nadal outclassed Diego Schwartzman in a tricky battle in front of 5,000 fans in Paris, winning 6-3, 4-6, 6-4, 6-0. The pair will meet for the 58th time in their illustrious careers, with the winner going on to face Greek 5th seed Stefanos Tsitsipas or German 6th seed Alexander Zverev in Sunday's final. Nadal, 35, is still deemed the favorite to land the trophy, which would be a 21st Grand Slam triumph and move him clear of Roger Federer for the first time in terms of most men's majors. Djokovic, 34, is 2 behind Nadal and Federer after winning his 18th Grand Slam at the Australian Open in February. We are at the end of Janata Bulletin, and the headlines once again. Supreme Court sets a time frame for hearing on House dissolution case, demands clarification from the defendants within 7 days. Government confirms over 3,000 new cases of coronavirus. Number of active cases drops to 80,000. World Bank projects economic growth of 5.1% in 2022, says the growth will be limited to 2.7% in the current fiscal year. US to provide 500 million doses of COVID-19 vaccine to other nations. The vaccines will be donated to 92 low-income countries over the next year. And Djokovic and Nadal set for a titanic semi-final clash in the French Open. The pair will meet for the 58th time on June 11th. And that's all from the English News Desk for today. You can follow Janata Television and our programs on various social media platforms, including on our website janatasamachar.com. Keep watching Janata Television. Namaste.